Hello everyone, it's Milo again. For my first video, I decided to tackle a big hot topic, which is air filtration on board the train. So obviously because of COVID, we all have questions about our safety in our workplace, which are very valid questions. And our committee was able to speak to two experts, one based in the TMC and one based at the MMC, regarding the air filtration and how that all works on the train. So, long story short, we asked for some diagrams and explanation of how the air filtration works on the train, and basically because of security reasons they cannot share with us the actual diagram of where every single conduit is and how the air travels throughout the car. And this is obviously because we don't want this information leaked out for any terrorist or threat type of activity, which is totally understandable. But they did explain to us the general workings of the system, which I think was really interesting, and it was really reassuring to know. So I'm going to try my best to pass on what I gathered. I did take notes, so I'll be looking down on my piece of paper and I'll try to explain it as quickly and efficiently as possible. I am not an HVAC system expert by any means, so I'm just going to try to reiterate what I learned. So first of all, the guidelines that we get for how safe our air quality should be actually comes from an organization called ASHRAE. ASHRAE stands for the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers. And so even though they're an American company or an American group, it is a worldwide recognized standard that people follow. And first and foremost, what we were told is that we are above and beyond the ASHRAE guidelines in terms of filtration and fresh air. So there's two elements to keeping the air quality good and safe for us on board. So I'll talk about those two things. So first is the air filtration. So you probably saw some memos about how they were replacing our filters. The filters are called MERV, M-E-R-V, and what that stands for is the minimum efficiency reporting value. And basically the MERV is a scale from 1 to 16 about how good it is able to trap particles in the air. So 1 is the lowest level. It's kind of like for trapping things like pollen and dust, very basic things, and all the way up to MERV 16, which is the highest level of filtration, which is basically only reserved for very sterile environments such as surgical operating rooms. So the MERV filtration level that we have is 13, which is super high, and basically as you go up the MERV scale, what it does is the better, or the higher the number is, the smaller the particulate in microns you're able to capture and grab in the filter. So our MERV 13 filters are the ones suggested by ASHRAE to be able to capture the COVID-19 virus if it is being expelled in someone's droplets in their nose or mouth on the train. Oh, and also on the topic of filtration, I wanted to discuss with you is how often they're changed. So there is obviously a schedule of how often they're supposed to change the air filters on board, just like you have to change your cabin filter in your car, or you should change the filter on your furnace every season. So we obviously have a schedule that we follow. We've upped the schedule to be replaced on the LRC and HEP equipment every 7 days. We did actually just receive a memo saying that we have gone above and beyond the ASHRAE standard to change it from every 14 days down to every 7 days just to be extra safe. But there is a global shortage of supply of the MERV 13 filters. So we are receiving a shipment of MERV 13 filters in March, and there is a chance that we may have to go down to the 14-day replacement cycle in order to protect our inventory for us to be able to get that replenished stock, and then they'll go back to replacing it every 7 days. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the fresh air dampers. So if you notice on the outside of the train, there are these little grates on the outside of the train, and those are actually collecting the fresh air from the outside. And ASHRAE also recommends the amount of fresh air that needs to be exchanged within a system to provide a ratio of fresh air that's being added into a system. So in normal situations, basically the less fresh air that it goes in somewhere, the less expensive it is to heat or cool it. But at that same token, you're also providing an environment with more particulates possibly. So in a train car where there could be lots of people and there could be someone with COVID, we obviously want to make sure that not only is the filtration the best that we can have, but we want to have that fresh air being added inside of our car opposed to it being recycled so much. So what our department, EM department, was able to do is they were able to open the dampeners on the outside of the train so that the most possible amount of fresh air can come in. It then gets heated or cooled by our HVAC system. It passes through the MERV filter, and then it goes through the ceiling vents, which pushes the clean and cooled or heated air down towards the passenger's head. So it comes from the floor down towards the feet. The direction of air travel, I'm told, is from the galley end towards the washroom end usually. And those big grates that are on each end of the car in the ceiling that we look up and we usually see these big grate vents, those are the return. So it's sucking the used air up, and again, some of it gets ejected, some of it gets recycled, and then the fresh air once again is being brought in from the outside. So I thought that that was pretty cool to know that all of those changes had happened with our equipment since COVID started. And this was again a very important topic that was brought up. These, just again to reiterate some notes that I took from our meeting with our two experts, is that these are above and beyond the ASHRAE guidelines, which is what is used in most countries around the world for these. So yeah, I think I learned something really cool from the experts, and I thought to myself it would be really important to share with all of you. And I'd like to thank the employees, you know who you are, who brought this up to the Health and Safety Committee for us to investigate and find out more information about this, because without you bringing up that question, I would have no idea about the system and how it all worked. So thanks for asking the questions, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. Leave a comment for more videos like this. Take care.